Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Cleveland, Ohio, I give you BVO.
Oh, we boxing? Yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weaving and blocking. Defeat ain't an option. Let them know, shoot a video, put it on BVO. Let them know, every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO, bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know, I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show, this is BVO.
On behalf of BVO Boxing TV, we would like to thank our sponsor, Raycon. Don't forget to grab your Raycon Everyday Earbuds, the perfect bass model for premium sound, with active noise cancellation to block out distractions and transparency mode to keep you aware of your surroundings. They're ideal for your everyday needs. Just visit rayconglobal.com. That's rayconglobal.com and elevate your listening experience. On behalf of BVO Boxing TV, we would like to thank our sponsor, Raycon. Don't forget to grab your Raycon Everyday Earbuds, the perfect bass model for premium sound, with active noise cancellation to block out distractions and transparency mode to keep you aware of your surroundings. They're ideal for your everyday needs. Just visit rayconglobal.com. That's rayconglobal.com and elevate your listening experience. On behalf of BVO Box.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy BVO Sports TV, man. Gotta get used to the new name. But shout out, man, to my brother, man, the Puerto Rican one, D Free. We got our other brothers about to come up in 1 second, but I brought my man Free up to ask you one question before I bring the brothers up, man. When did Boots Ennis get so many fans, bro?
Boots Ennis had fans for a while. I mean, especially coming out of Philly. Anytime Philly thinks they have another superstar on the horizon, they're going to get behind their fighter. But Boots made his bones as he was coming up in the welterweight division, calling out Bud Crawford and Earl Spence, trying to get the fights with those guys. And a lot of people believe that he can beat those guys. So that's when the fans had got behind him.
So, that being said, I guess the thing that's so shocking to me is I'm sure we all seen the show earlier, but all the hate towards Brian Norman saying, why are these guys trying to protect Brian Norman Jr., man? Why are they trying to protect Boots from Brian Norman Jr., man? Why are they doing that?
I don't know about nobody protecting. They saying let's make the fight happen. Everybody's going based off of what was put out there that they might be going over to Japan and fighting Jin Sasaki. So they like, why are you going over there to fight Jin Sasaki when you could fight Ja'Ron Boots Ennis and unify the belts? So I don't see the hate. I just see it's more so they want the unification. They heard what Brian Norman Sr. has said. They heard what Brian Norman Jr. has said. They heard what Boots has said, what Boots' father has said, what Eddie Hearn has said. So they're like, man, let's mix it up. And Eddie Hearn said they trying to talk the top rank to get the fight done. They pretty much gotta accept the offer. So I mean, I don't see it as hate. I see it as the people want the fight to get done.
Speaking of that, I guess the thing that's so surprising is you hear people say, "Oh, you turned down 100,000, you turn down 200,000, 300,000. If that's not no money, I think it's laughable. Why do you think so many broke people are trying to give a future millionaire advice on money?
I don't know about no 100,000. I didn't hear nothing about him turning down no 100,000. I heard the fact that they turned down the 1.7. Because I mean, you got to look at it. He turned down 1.7, and then you look at what he made in the fight previously. He made 150,000, and then you look at what he made in the fight that he just fought, which came from Brian Norman Sr. was he made 300,000. So if you're looking at that and you saying, okay, they offer you 1.7, why are you not taking a 1.7? And they're like, well, it doesn't make sense. If you taking these fights for 300,000 and 150,000. Now, granted, the one for 150,000, I give him that. He wasn't a champion. He wasn't even the interim champion. He was fighting for the interim belt. The other guy was the interim champion. So I don't even count the 150, but the 300,000, you fought this guy for 300,000, and like I understand, he said the fight was already made, and that wasn't nothing to negotiate. That fight was already planned for Brian Norman Jr. But they still looking at the fact that you made 300,000, and this man offered you 1.7. It was they came to you with 3 different offers, and they offer you 1.7, and so I mean, me looking at it, I would say the same thing. I'm like, hey, I got 300,000. This man offered me 1.7. I'm gonna take the 1.7. But and then they said, I mean, he came out and said, well, if you want us to fight in Philly, then you got to give us 2 million. You got to give us 2 million if you want to fight us in Philly. But then we're hearing they're willing to go over to Japan and fight Jin Sasaki. I'm like, you willing to go to Japan to fight Jin Sasaki, but you won't fight?
How much money though? We know
it ain't no 2
1.7. Yeah,
that's what I was about to say. 1.7, and it ain't no 2.
That's fair. That's
no,
fair.
No matter how much it is,
I ain't capping. I'm just asking.
No matter how much it is, man. I just didn't know Boots had all these fans. I mean, shout out to the Cheetah Girls, that's coming up talking down on Brian Norman Jr. I mean, the fact is this, man. The dude stopping people. The brother was never supposed to get this opportunity. And I'll tell you what, it really surprises me to see how many people are cutting down Brian Norman Jr. as if he didn't stop his last 2 opponents. I mean, none of the guys, like the records of his last 2 opponents is 59-3. These guys he fought may not be household names, but they wasn't no bums. So to hear like this constant barrage of like, oh, now they want to try to push Boots up. Man, Boots fought Stanionis, who was tough. I'm not gonna be like a lot of people and try to play like Stanionis wasn't a champion. Stanionis was a champion, and it looked like Goku versus Frieza. I mean, he was punching the Eastern European hoagie out of this dude. I mean, it was tequila everything. He was really punching this dude. A couple of those body shots looked like he lifted Stanionis off the ground. And I get it, but I just want us to kind of have, a point of order, and let's just be real here. We all know Boots ain't fought nobody to give you this magical thought of him. I mean, he beat Stanionis. I get it. That's a good fight. But let's not act like he beat Bud Crawford or he beat Errol Spence before he became half dead. No, he beat a guy who was very inactive. So I'm just so shocked about all these fake Ja'Ron Ennis fans. That's my only thing. It's like, you know what? But shout out, because what I would have given a big shout out to is they took the headlines away from you guys, you know who, Little Red. So we ain't got to hear about Little Red. So I'm happy about it. But I'm also kind of perplexed that they want to go at Brian Norman Jr. But I'll ask you this next, Freed, and I'll open it up for everybody. Speaking of what you're seeing, when did fans start counting fighters' money?
When Floyd Mayweather was in the game. You want to be honest? Floyd Mayweather was the one that was putting out there how much money he was making per fight. That's when fans started counting money.
Yeah, salute my brother T Hill.
Yeah, because we didn't care about how much. I know I can speak for myself, Freezy. I didn't care about how much money Mike Tyson was making back in the day. I didn't even care. I want to see Mike go in there and smoke somebody. So
Mm.
I agree with you, Free. I think all that pocket watching started around the Money Mayweather era. It's hard not to agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, we didn't care because we didn't know. Floyd was the one that was going out there showboating and letting everybody know how much money he's making each fight. So that's when people started caring about how much the fighter is making for the fight. So prior to that, nobody cared because nobody knew. I mean, you might have got wind of what a champion made in a certain fight. If it was a big fight, you might have got wind of what they made, but you wasn't knowing how much they was making every single fight they was fighting. So that was because of the Floyd Mayweather era.
And I was one of those guys that didn't care when he started, and I still don't care. So even when a lot of people fell victim to what Floyd was doing with flossing and making it people business, I didn't fall for it because it still ain't my daggone business. You ain't giving me none of that money, so I don't care. The only money I'm worried about is the money that I'm making. I'm trying to generate, not the next man's wealth or whatever.
Right.
Kudos to those guys, you know what I mean? But I got to worry about my own, and theirs ain't a part of mine, and mine ain't a part of theirs. So I don't give a flute tune. Never
Yeah.
did,
Straight
Go
like
ahead.
that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I guess there will be some blame to Floyd. But one thing that's funny, I'm learning about boxing is super fickle. If they don't like somebody, they'll come up with like reasons to down them. We heard a couple content creators got brought up in the actual show where they were like, where the brother was going at said some slick stuff about Brian Norman Sr. when he came off the screen, and it was just like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing here? We're not supposed to be a part of the. We're not supposed to be a part of the news. But shout out to Brian Norman Jr. for keeping us cool. Because I tell you what, man, it's not easy. People don't understand. This brother's never been in this position. He actually was a top flight fighter in his day. Let's not forget that he fought John Pascal, who was a really good champion. So he definitely fought at the top of the world.
Hmm.
It's got to be brand new to have a son be a champion. Because one thing I will tell you guys, just from learning stuff from behind the scenes, to become a champion in boxing is not about talent all the time. It's really about getting an opportunity. It's not
Hmm.
about talent. Shout out to my brother Charles Conway, who's from Cleveland, who cannot get a shot to save his life, and he's been number one contender for a minute.
It's
So it's
crazy.
not about what your skills say; it's about the connections that you have. And to think he accidentally got the shot, he was number 14 in the WBO when they got him. So they was expecting him to get smashed.
Hmm.
Marky Dan said it best, and I'll have Marky Dan talk about it more in 1 second. But I just never in my life, you guys don't realize the brother got the golden ticket to Willy Wonka land. You think he knows everything? No. Eddie Hearn is a seasoned vet. Eddie Hearn has lied before, but it's so funny. We want to down the black man, but we don't talk about how dirty and shiesty and snake like Eddie Hearn is. But what you tell me about it, Mark? Tell me about how that was really an outclass. That's what people thought when that fight happened. Go ahead, Mark.
What exactly is you asking me?
I was saying, remember how you was telling us how when you fought, when Brian Norman actually was fighting for that interim belt, that he was way lower in the rankings. He wasn't expected to win.
Yeah. When he fought what a boy Santalan.
Santalan, yes. They said Santalan had him by, I think it was like a plus I want to say it's a plus 1,000 or something crazy like that. Go ahead.
No, I mean if it was that then that is crazy. But I mean I don't know. Yeah, I didn't expect him to win that fight. The last two performances before that, there wasn't nothing to write home about. But salute to him. He got through that fight. He beat that man up in his hometown. You know, so credit to him. But if I could comment on some of what you on your last question,
Absolutely.
when did fighter or excuse me, when did fans start pocket watching or whatever? I mean, I'll say this. Me personally, being a historian, I like to track things like that through history. I like to go back to when Jack Johnson fought James Jeffries. I like to track who's making the most money and who has the highest purse because that's usually a good milestone for boxing. You go from Jack Johnson making 65,000 to Jack Dempsey and Gene Tony making 750,000 to then Muhammad Ali making 5 million a fight. Then Larry Holmes and what's that boy name? The white boy he a fight. I can't even think his name right now, but
Jerry
they made
Cooney.
yeah, Cooney. They made 10 million, and then later on, through decades and decades, we see Floyd and Manny make 100. Or you hear some numbers say Floyd make 600 million that fight. But yeah, I like to track those things. No, cause I'm a historian. As for fans, I mean, fans like to make excuses. So I could say it probably started happening in recent years. The more we get to engage on social media and things like that, you see fans will just use money to make excuses for why fights are not happening or for why their favorite fighter ain't fighting this dude. Or he cashed out, or they ain't got this kind of money for him. So I mean, yeah, I mean, some fans are just hoes. You just gotta lead them part of there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I guess for me, salute the shower, man. Every time I see you on your panel, girl, you make my day. I appreciate you. Um, I guess I'm just so shocked because I was just hearing before that Boots was a clout place a clout chaser. You guys remember when Boots Ennis got on $1 million worth of was on $1 million Terrence Crawford was on $1 million worth of game
Yeah,
and they called and
that was
Wallow called
crazy. That
Boots
was crazy.
and they exposed that Boots is a known liar. So I mean,
Hey, BVO. So something I will give Brian Norman that he did call out Boots on is that Boots said that they turned down $2 million. That is a lie. That's not true. They did not turn down 2 million. It was 1.7. So I mean, I will give Brian Norman credit on that. He wasn't capping about that. So Boots, and I don't think Boots is involved in the business. I think he leaves that to his father and his manager, Eddie Hearn. So I ain't gonna really fault him for getting some of the numbers wrong, but yeah, he need to shut his mouth about some of that stuff sometimes. He need to just let the real people that handle that.
yeah. I mean, I just want to point out that Bruce has been known to be a fraud. That's the thing I want to do. Let's not play like this dude has ever been honest. The dude got on $1 million forfeit game and lied and said he called out Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford said, "When did you say my name?" I said, "All the top guys." No, when did you say my name? I
He
never
did say
said your
that.
name, but I'm a clout chaser. So that's why I'm saying that now. So I don't want to hear this crap about him, people coming off his name. The dude's a goofy man because he made the whole
Whoa,
reason we
that
know
was
Ja'Ron
crazy.
Ennis is from hanging from Errol Spence's pubic hairs. Talking about he wanted to fight Errol Spence, knowing back then Errol would have beat him dead. I mean, I don't know what we're talking about here. This is the guy we're talking about, man. This guy's a goofy man. But moving along from that, it's a conversation that I definitely want to have, and I think it'll be a good pin on what we spoke about yesterday. I got a chance to read more about that young player, who unfortunately took his life. This is the thing that's so crazy. That the grandfather who got hit, people don't realize that this young man was with his wife and had his grandchildren in the car when this happened. So for me, knowing that extra caveat just put me in a whole nother space. I don't know how my brother Free, and I'm not coming at Free because Free's my guy. I don't know how Free didn't have more mercy for the old man who lost his life.
Oh,
Basically that young man took their grandfather's life in front of those kids and his wife. I
well,
don't know. I don't
I
know
mean,
how much more reckless you can be. Go ahead.
it's not gonna change how I feel about the situation. I'm still not going to put the man down. I don't know nothing about the man. Like I said, the only thing we know is he had too much to drink and he got behind the wheel. I'm not gonna sit here and say the man is a piece of crap and all that. You're not gonna get me to do that. I'm not that type of dude. I don't talk about somebody I don't know.
Oh, I
So
respect that.
unless
Uh,
I got information knowing that the dude is a piece of crap, I'm not going to just sit here and call people pieces of crap and I don't know nothing about them. I don't
I,
talk about people that way.
I respect that 1,000% free. I will say that that is a piece of crap move, and it's just not very responsible. And you see the consequences of that. Somebody lost their life. Um, but Kyron Lacy, this is really a tragedy on all sides for this older gentleman that lost his life. And then we see Kyron Lacy. I mean, I really think he could have been a top of the market receiver in the next 4 or 5 years. He had that type of talent. He was so cold. when he was playing at LSU. Like he and what's the boy name? He came from Liberty, CJ Daniels. I think his name was CJ Daniels. The two of them at LSU last year, they were two of the coolest receivers coming out of the SEC. He could have added his name to that long line of LSU receivers in the NFL that's making big money, like Odell Beckham, Justin Jefferson, um, Jamar Chase. We know he about to. I think he done get his contract signed. You see the two boys coming behind them, Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. I definitely thought Kyron Lacy was of that class, and again, it's just a shame he made a terrible decision, and man, man, like it's nothing you could say. You just
Pretty
can't, like when
bad,
you
Marcus.
do something. No, yeah, when you do
Pretty
something, you
bad.
can't take it back, man. You just can't.
Hmm.
It's
I'm riding with
like
free.
what
My
CDK
bad.
told me that. Yeah, it's like what CDK said the other day. You can't. What you say? You can't scram. You can't make scramble eggs. No, what is that? You can't make scramble eggs and then ask me how you want it. It's already done.
I'm riding. I'm leaning with D free. I don't know that man to be snapping and calling them names and a coward. What he did was fatal. There's no coming back from it. Then he went and unalived himself because he didn't want to face the consequences. So I get where BBO's anger comes from. BBO is really, really angry about the man grandfather, and BBO behind the scenes, he knows the kind of relationship I got with my grandfather. So I get you. But if I delve into it more, and the kid, the first time offender, he's normally been a clean cut kid through school, high school, college. He made a bad mistake. I'll just say prayers to both sides of the family, but I'm not gonna do any name calling whatsoever.
What you got for us, Crush?
It's a tragic, sad situation, and I understand everybody's standpoint and the mood that they taking in the situation. Completely understand. And I have to agree with everybody in where they stand at. But overall, it's just a sad situation. Like we said, doesn't necessarily make him, Apollo doo. No, it doesn't. There are a lot of not ish people out here that's doing much worse than a accident, or someone who drank a little too much and it was completely out of their control. And sometimes we all have been wasted and been out of control before, so it's not like it was his decision or whatever. And once once he gained control or conscious of what happened, he panicked. So like D Free said, he made a great point yesterday. Some people react different, so I had to think about it. And it's a sad situation. So like I said, I don't want to put too much weight on that man's soul or anyone else's. It's just a tragic loss on both ends. A couple times around, both of those, the grandfather, the young man himself, and the families on both ends, losing a loved one. So could have been a completely situation that went bad. Everybody that gets behind the wheel and intoxicated, all of them are not bad people.
Right.
I've seen a lot of situations. There's a lot of them that happen in Philadelphia. Everybody is not bad that get behind the wheel, that's intoxicated. It's more
Are
people
they
that get
stupid?
behind the wheel. It's more people that get behind the wheel that's sober, that's more detrimental than someone that's, DUI. Look at road rage. And it has nothing to do with anyone being intoxicated a lot of times. People just nuts. They goofy. I'm saying so. It's really a sad situation, ladies and gentlemen, and I just wish everyone my strongest for them to move on, and it's something to hard to move on from. But let's not put an anvil on the soul of the people that left. You know what I mean? So it's just tragic, man. We would have loved to see what his football career would have turned into. It kind of remind me of somewhat with them buyers. You see what I'm saying? So a bad decision, it's tragic, man, so. Yeah,
Yeah.
wish somebody could have been around and be like, "Hey, bro, what you doing? You can't get behind the wheel."
My
You know,
thing is this, Crush.
That's what I'm saying.
How did
That's what I was
Dante
about to say,
Starworth get
Crush,
away with
because
it?
you got Lyft, you got Uber, you got all these different ways to get where you going. So I mean, I don't even know how drunk he was, if he was even able to make a decision like that. But he shouldn't have been behind the wheel of a car, period. And I don't know if he was around friends or if he was around people that cared about him. But again, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy all the way around.
yeah, especially if he drank for the first time. You know, like it was
Mm-hmm.
mentioned yesterday when the brothers was breaking down with. I think BBO was breaking that part down yesterday. That's even worse.
Yeah.
So it's like now that we dig more depth into it and get into like the bottom of the sea of it, it's really detrimental. And then I'm pretty sure with so many people who was around, hear me out, people. It was so many people around who knew it was this young man first time, but they just party, live it up, live it up. No, you don't do that. Listen, when you know it's a rookie and they first time, you do not let them go off on their own. That's worth being in the military and you leaving a wounded
Where
battle
was his
behind.
teammates? That's what he's saying. Where was his teammates?
I'll say this, man. I think the crazy thing is this. I'll ask you guys this: as his parents losing a son, what do you guys think is worth? Knowing that their son took someone's life, or knowing that they won't see their son again? What do you
Ah
guys
man,
think?
let's
I
not
feel
go that.
bad for the
That's
parents.
yeah. Come on, let's not go into that,
No,
Yeah,
we
I
BBO.
don't
got we
want
got
to.
to ask that question. This is what we do here. We're not scared to ask the tough questions.
I
That's
mean,
That's
what we
I
good,
do.
look at
you
it.
know.
I look at it like this, BBO. I feel bad for both sides, but I feel a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and say I probably feel a little bit more worse for that mom. That mother doesn't have her son. Her son made a fatal error, and then he did it. Then he went a step further and
Ah,
unalived himself. Imagine what is going through that poor sister's mind. Because as far as she concerned, her kid was a good kid. I don't know. Maybe
ah,
that's some more research we can dive into. How was he? Was he known for drinking? Was he? Because if like this was some like somebody like Dante Starworth, he was his that seemed more reckless than what the kid did. Dante Starworth didn't do no time in jail. Came back, played football like nothing happened. You know what I'm saying?
that
And
that
the man wife was a cameraman. So the man is filming Dante Starworth, the man that unalived his wife. So the mother, I feel a whole hell of a lot of sympathy for the mother of this young man more than anybody. That's just me.
And I don't
that.
think either situation outweighs the other because I think both of them is equally heavy on it. That he took his life and by accident. For sure this was nothing intentional. I would not put that into anybody's frequency. So it wasn't anything intentional. So we have to have sympathy for the young man. It was a mistake. It happens, but we seen people do much worse. And sometimes when a mistake happened or whatever the case, you never know what's going to happen. But like I said, hey, there always got to be somebody around because it could have been plenty times when nobody wasn't around when I was too messed up. You understand what I'm saying? But I knew not to get behind the wheel because I am more, seasoned. But whatever the case may be, somebody felt that young man more than that young man feeling himself because you don't leave a battle buddy behind. You out partying, you made sure that everybody is right. We always did that. You're not driving. No, you're not. Your car, if somebody else would drive your car, bruh. Hey, sis, you're not driving. You're going to get in the back or whatever. You're going to take a Uber. Somebody's going to take you home. You're not getting behind the damn wheel. You cannot. You can barely walk. So how you going to get behind the wheel?
Where was his real
No.
friends at, Crush? Like if you was a star player getting ready to be a draft pick, and I'm your man's, and I see you rip, and you usually don't get ripped like that. I'm like, yo, I'm not finna let my man. He finna be a draft pick, but let me slide with you, dog. I'm gonna drive you to your crib. Matter of fact, I'm gonna bunk out with you. If I can't do that, then I'm gonna Uber home. It don't matter how much it costs. You know what I'm
Maybe
saying?
he was an
Your
angry drunk.
Yeah, I mean, well,
You
you
know what
got
I'll
it.
say.
Then
I'll tell you. I'll
you're
tell you
right
this
about that,
story to
Marky.
kind of
Them are hard to deal
give
with.
you guys an idea why I say what I say. So I had took my little cousin. We went out. It's funny. She's my little cousin, but we always be the same age for a couple months. But so anyway, so we went to go. You know, we went to celebrate her birthday. Of course, we went to like, I'll be honest, BVO live in the suburbs. So we went to some place in as my grandfather would say, Crackerville. I don't know where we was at, but we was in the middle. We was like in the middle of nowhere. And I remember she got slammed, and I tried to make sure she did. And she's like, "Oh, I'm about to drive home," and I had no plans of driving her home. I had zero plans of driving her home. But I drove her home, and her brother drove her car to her house. So I'm just saying, and I'm not trying to harp on the young man. The young man is gone. And you can't come back from that. So he's not going to be able to hurt anybody else or hurt himself anymore. He's in a better place, I hope. But that being said, man, it's just a lack of accountability, and that's what I'm speaking to, Chris. I'm speaking to in our community. Everybody wants to be cool. Everybody wants to say the right answer instead of saying what's real. And I gotta say, we gotta say what's real. Her son took someone's life and he took his own life. And I'm saying, what's worse, the fact that he took his life or the fact that he's gonna be remembered for taking someone's life? That's what it is, bro. They call OJ. Unalive to the day he passed. Did they not? No
Yeah,
one gave it. Nobody cared about how OJ felt about that. As Mike
that was
Tyson
a
said,
little different though.
no, there is no difference,
I
bro.
mean,
There is no
OJ
difference.
OJ was on trial for committing heinous acts. This was not so much of a heinous
he
act to me.
didn't
It was
get
a
caught. I
it was
mean,
a mad. It was a
How was that
fatal
not
mistake
heinous, bro? He took
get
because
me.
somebody's
Nah,
It's
grandfather in
not.
front
because
of
It's
he's
his
not
a
a.
like
you know why
grandkids.
like
BBL you
Prince
know
to
why
You
because
a
me.
he's
nut,
only
bro.
21.
To
He's a
me,
young man.
this is how I think that's pretty bad. I think getting behind the wheel of a car drunk is bad. Like period, point blank. I've been drunk before. I've been intoxicated. I've always had somebody to drive me home, or I found a way. Like I've never gotten behind the wheel of a car.
But see, Marky, when I was 21, I got hammered. I used to crush no. I could get hammered in Atlantic City. I will get back on the Atlantic City Expressway and I would drive all the way home. And then when I wake up the next morning, I'd be like, I cannot believe I drove. But the point that I'm making is I was young and dumb. Now I got CDL.
Dumb.
I don't want to use, I don't want to do that. I don't want to lose my CDL and my license. I lose my license for a year if I get I got to blow zeros. If I get pulled over, it has to be zero. If I blow
Yeah.
0.01 anything, I'm done. So I
Yeah.
made tons of mistakes, but like I said, he was a young man. He's not my age. He ain't free age. He ain't crush age. Where we know better because I got kids. I can't afford to bang out, unalive somebody, and then now my daughters is
Can I
out of
say
their
this real quick?
daddy
Can I say this real
because
Petty
I'm
quick?
in a
Can I
young,
say
but
this
mistake.
real quick
I it's
for
funny.
anybody go? Let me say this real quick. Guess what? Dumb niggas don't get old. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Come on, that's crazy.
But let let
It's a
let me
fact.
let me say
It's
this.
a
Let me say
fact.
this. What we fail to understand is this individual is not you. What you would have done
True.
is what you would have done. He's not you. So you can't base what he did based off of what you would do. You got to understand everybody is different. Everybody responds differently. Like I said, we don't know anything other than the fact that he got behind the wheel on this night and got into a car accident. Anything else in his life, we don't know for him doing anything bad. As far as we know, he was a scholar student at LSU. That's all we know. He played football. He never got in trouble. As far as we know, he never got in trouble. He played football. So you're basing things that he done based off of what you would have done. Everybody has their own mind. Everybody get wisdom at different times in their life. Everybody get common sense at different times in their life. I got people right now that I talk to at my job that don't have common sense. They got book smarts, but they don't have common sense. So everybody
That's a big thing. Big difference.
everybody doesn't have the same thought process that you will have because what you think is what you think. Your wife is not going to think the same way you think. Your daughter is not going to think the same way you think. Your son, your father, your mother, none of them are going to think the way you think. Everybody has their own mindset. And yeah, it was a mistake, but that's exactly what it was. It was a mistake. It's not something he planned on doing. He didn't plan on going to get drunk and getting behind the wheel and doing however fast he was doing and crashing into somebody head on. He didn't. That wasn't his plan. He didn't wake up and say, you know what, I'm gonna go out, get drunk, and I'm gonna crash my car into somebody and take somebody out. That wasn't his plan. It was a mistake that was made, and we got to understand it was a mistake made.
And I'll say this because Free's my brother, and this is something, and what I want to do is I don't want to sensationalize the conversation and make it too funny. That's why you don't hear me making any jokes and things like that, because it's a serious situation. I think the thing was this: Free, the man was about to be charged for capital unalivement. That means they were gonna try to give him the electric chair, or they was gonna try to. I didn't even notice they doing firing squads again. They were gonna, they were thinking about taking a young man's life for the life that he took. He had a great lawyer. His lawyer, who what people gotta understand, he was paying $24,000 an hour. That's a lot of money for. That's a superstar lawyer. $24,000 an hour for somebody. I mean, the most I ever paid for a lawyer is maybe $100, $200 an hour. 24,000 is a lot. So we get that. That being said, what I'm speaking to is a very real problem in the community. There's no accountability. I get what you're saying. All I keep hearing Free say is, "Oh, he's a young guy. You don't know what he mean, what he meant to do, blah blah blah." It ain't, as my father said it, but it ain't about what you meant to do. It's about what you did. At the end of the day, you think about somebody driving 100 and something miles an hour. They hit the car head on, close range. Let's be honest. His wife probably needed a shower after what happened in that car. His grandkids probably needed a shower. But the fact that we can be on this total crap thing of, oh, he was this, it's not about him, Free. It's about what he did. Ain't no take back. This ain't the video game.
No, I
You
didn't
can't
say
press
it.
restart. This ain't Mario. Ain't no more lives.
I didn't say
That guy ain't got no more lives.
What I
That
said
guy
is, what I'm saying is, it was a mistake. Like I said, it's not something that he planned on doing. I could see if that was his plan, but we're acting like this was premeditated. That's what you're acting like. This was premeditated. He meant to go out here, get drunk, and get into a car accident and take somebody out. That's how you're acting. This was something that he meant to do. This wasn't something that he meant to do. And the way you know that he didn't meant to do it, he couldn't live with what he done.
He fled the scene.
No, he
I didn't even
fled
realize
the
the
scene.
brother
He
fled the
fled
what I'm
the
saying
scene.
is,
scene, and then he went on a. Then he took them on a chase parade.
what I'm saying is, he could not live with what he done. He fled the scene because he couldn't live with what he done. He took his own life because he couldn't live with what he done. That's how you know the man couldn't live with what he done. He took his own life. Most people ain't gonna take their own life. Most people. There's a lot of people that will take their own life, but most people ain't gonna take their own life.
I ain't like respect for. I ain't giving this man credit for taking his own life and saying that oh, he felt guilty. I mean, he could have just not wanted to go prison. Like straight up, he could have just not wanted to
Let's
deal with the
call it what it is,
consequences of
bro.
that.
He didn't
No,
want to go
like
to jail.
I'm not gonna assume that that's why he took his own life. But
I mean,
everywhere where I wrong, like I mean, can we move on? Like that? Like, I
Hold on,
don't even
hold
want
on
to
1
talk
second.
about
We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on, but we gotta hear from one of the craziest mofos on YouTube. Actually, a very talented guy, man. He's coming into his zone. They call him the new Varnell Hill, the next Arsenio Hall, man. My
I
God,
call
dead
him
right
Tucker
side.
Carlson.
What you got for me, man?
Man, first things first, shout out to Sombrero in the building, my brother Sombrero. Shout out to the entire panel. Listen,
Yo.
I I agree with Free, man. I agree 100% with Free. I do, and I hate that a life was taken. I hate that
Mm-hmm.
uh, um, a grandfather was taken away from his family. At the same time, we make mistakes in life, and the crazy thing is the brother couldn't deal with it. I know y'all may say, well, he really couldn't deal with going to jail. Maybe that's it too. But just in general, living with knowing that you done took somebody's life, bro, that's crazy work. That's crazy work in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I ain't hey, we all get the low spots. I'm not for anybody taking their own life. I'm not for that. At the same time, man, it's just a tragic situation all the way around. All the way around, from any angle you look at it, it's just a tragic situation. And so at this point, I'm kind of like, hey, shit happened in life. And so uh best thing we can do as a community, and BBO, I know you brought this up earlier. Well, you didn't bring this point up, but the best thing we can do, and we kind of had this conversation on my show last night. But the best thing you can do, man, you teach your children how to handle tough situations. You know what I'm saying? How to face life going forward. You know what I'm saying? Don't run from it, because when you run from it, it don't do nothing but make it worse. Address it immediately, and it'll give you that opportunity. You got to deal with the consequences of your decisions. One thing my mom always told me when I was coming up, she always say, "All right, when you were raised the right way, make good decisions."
I'm gonna say this. I see
Let me say this
everybody.
real quick before you go,
See,
Free. I want to say this before you go, Free. Let me say this before you go. I get what you said, but I put it like this, Dub. Let's take it like this, because I know a lot of people don't respect the patriarch. Everybody grew up with the matriarch mama. What if that was mama that got unalive, bro? What if that was mama or grandma?
it doesn't
See,
take. It
because ain't
doesn't
nobody,
take.
you know what I forgot? I forgot. Don't nobody got no respect for no black men. They don't care about no black man dying. So
No,
my bad. If that was Big Mama dying, if that was Mama that died in that car, I guarantee you would have a different reaction. If
no,
No, I
Mama's
wouldn't.
gone,
No, I
it
wouldn't.
doesn't.
and,
No,
and
it,
on
does,
top, hold
it
on, let
doesn't
me
change.
finish, and I'm moving out the way. Let me finish this. This is my last caveat. The fact is, the man left the scene. The coward couldn't even stay to see what happened. But okay,
And
that's cool.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because I was about to talk about that, because I see everybody saying that in the chat. Well, I ain't gonna say everybody. I see a couple of people saying that in the chat. He left the scene. Remember when Tank Davis got into his car accident? He didn't take nobody's life. He left the scene as well. And the reason I bring that up is because
He did hit a
when
pregnant
you
woman.
when you get into a car accident, especially your first car accident, you know you was intoxicated. You know somebody is seriously injured. He didn't know that the man was gone. We don't know that he knew that man life was taken at that time. We just know he knew that he was in a car accident. The problem is people get scared. You don't know what you're doing in a scary situation. And even if he did know that man's life was gone, that's even more reason for that man to run, because he's scared. What person do you know take somebody's life and stand around and wait for the police to come? Nobody. Nobody stands around and wait for the police to come. They take somebody's life. Now, if it was a car accident, yeah, they might stand around because it was a car accident.
That's what I was about to say.
Hey, if you run up in my crib and whatever happened, I'm gonna stand right there.
That was self-defense. That was self-defense. That's different.
Agreed.
I'm talking
Agreed.
about, but when you're scared, you don't know what you're going to do when you're scared. That's what people say. I don't know how I'm gonna react when I get scared. I don't know how I'm gonna react. You see people all the time. Somebody scare them, they scream. But this is a big brolic dude, but he's screaming like a girl. You don't know how he's going to react when you're scared.
I only got reason to be scared if I doing the wrong thing, respectfully.
No, that's what I'm saying. But so you don't know how you're going to react when you're scared. Like I said, we don't know if he knew that man's life was taken at that very moment. What we do know is he was scared because he was drinking, he was driving, and he got into a car accident.
But would you not agree? And it goes back. Sorry for
I'm
cutting
not
you
saying.
off.
Hold
Sorry for
on.
cutting you off.
I'm not saying that anything he did was right. I'm just saying when you're in a situation like that, your mind go through a bunch of different things. Your mind go through a bunch of different things. And the reason I'm speaking this way because I've seen situations similar to this. I've seen a lot of situations. I've probably seen more situations like this than most of y'all on this live stream right now.
Absolutely.
I see it on almost an everyday basis. So I understand how these people feel in certain situations because things like this never happened to them before, and you did something wrong and you're not used to being in that situation. This, like I said, we don't know how this guy was brought up. He might not have ever been in trouble in his life, and this is the first thing that happened to him. He's going to be scared. So things happen, he's going to take off running, or he's going to try to get away. Now, mind you, he was just in a car accident. He fled the scene. His car didn't leave the scene. He left the scene. So know what happened? he wasn't thinking properly because they got his car right there. They're gonna know who did it. His car is right there.
No,
So
free. I think
this is things that
no, he
happen.
took them on a car chase free.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's just,
it was in his
He
car.
took them. Yeah, he took them on a chase. And
Speeds
at
of
the end of the chase,
exceeding
when
160 miles an hour.
Hold on, wait
Yeah.
a minute. So so hold on. You telling me the man he wrecked the car?
Yeah, I
Head
got
on
this.
collision. Hold on. Head on collision, and then he takes the police in a broke down car on 160 mile an hour
Well,
high speed chase.
I don't know if it's that same car. I
I
don't know if
find it
maybe
hard.
that
I
was the
find it
same
hard
one.
to believe.
Yeah,
yeah.
but the article I'm reading says he took them on a high speed chase, and at the end of the chase, when they recovered his car, they said he was deceased from a self inflicted wound after the autopsy. Well, that's what the autopsy said. That it was a self inflicted wound.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, so he's
we
super
know he took his
panicked.
own
I
life.
mean, he's super panicked. I wasn't aware of the high speed chase, so that's new to me. Like I said, I think tomorrow.
I just
I
put
don't
an
know how
article
long.
in the chat for anybody.
I don't know how long BVO want to keep talking about this, but I want to do a little bit more research on this kid. See what I can come up with to see if was he known for drinking? Like, because people might look at Earl and be like, Earl even admitted it. Earl he drinks. You know what I mean? We don't know if that kid was doing all those things. That's what I need to know. Somebody in the chat or any one of y'all know, let me know. Was the kid
Can
a
I,
bad
can I,
kid?
can
Was
I say
he a
this real
known
quick, Price?
drinker or whatever? That's the question.
Because this is a deep subject. I'm gonna go to one more thing else that's a little bit deep as well. But at the end of the day, I bet Daddy was screaming. Bet you that free. I bet Granddaddy was screaming when some coward took his life. I
Oh,
bet you he was
come on,
screaming.
BVO, come
So
on.
we'll leave it at that. I guarantee you, Daddy was screaming. I guarantee it. It's just like my barber said it best. The guy fell out of a plane, and he said a plane went down.
Bro, you
Shout out to my boy
sick,
Dexter. Sex said,
BVO.
"I'm sure he did a little holler on the way
No,
down."
no, it doesn't say. It doesn't say he took him on a high speed chase. He said he fled the scene and he drove for. It said what he say for several miles
Mhm.
and crashed in Spring, Texas.
It said
He
instead
said
he
he
led
drove.
them on a
So
car chase for
Oh,
several
he said,
miles.
shout out my man, LDTV said, no, BBO, he most likely went quick.
yeah, when they say car chase, that just mean they're going after the car. That doesn't mean a high speed chase.
Okay.
It
That's
just mean
okay.
they're going after the car. So they said he drove for several miles. They didn't say high speed chase anything. They just said they took him on a car chase
Okay,
for
my mistake.
several miles,
I
and
apologize.
then he crashed in Spring, Texas, which means he probably was riding around contemplating what the heck is going on. And it hold up. They said it was a self-inflicted wound.
So that meaning he had a
That's the
weapon.
only way. That's the only way you can take your own. That's the only way you can take your
Hold
own
on,
life.
no, but that means the story is mixed up because they said that he was having a trial and he was supposed to be going to court and then he took his life. That was the story that I got. But if this is saying this is saying he took his life right after the car accident.
Now I'm gonna just be honest real quick. I've been listening, and Sombrero, you my brother, but you're doing some sensationalizing because the other day it was $13,000 an hour for the lawyer. Today I believe you said $24,000 an hour for the lawyer. All I'm saying, you're doing a little.
Well, I'll put like this. One thing about Dub, and I'm gonna say this is my brother. This brother's sick. The fact is, it don't matter the number. It don't matter the number. It don't matter the number. All I'm saying is this: if I have it wrong, forgive me. It's not on purpose. I'm just saying somebody's granddaddy lost their life, and I like that people like Dub want to focus on me saying something wrong.
No,
I get it. If it serves you to attack me, brother,
no, it's not about attacking you.
Do it. You're playing.
Hold on. What the point is we need clear facts and a true story behind this whole situation. It has nothing to do with attacking you.
Hold on.
It's not about attacking. It's all about having the truth and the facts laid out accordingly. So if you want to be sensitive about that, then hey, that's on you.
If you want to call me sensitive, by all means do that. That don't bother me, man. That don't bother me because you know me. You can run.
I'm not trying to.
I mean, you can run.
We can do what?
We can rub them.
Y'all
I mean,
Man,
Y'all boys, wow.
now you really out of order.
You out of pocket, bro.
Out of order, man.
Y'all boys is
hey,
wild.
if I was sensitive, you gonna be sensitive with me.
The car chase wasn't at the scene of the accident. The car chase was them trying to stop him at a traffic stop, and he kept driving. He kept driving, and then when the police finally stopped him, they found him with a gunshot wound. So this wasn't him fleeing the scene. This was he had already turned himself in. He turned himself in, and then because what happens at the beginning of the story talks about when he took his life, but then it goes down to saying that he turned himself in and he had a bond of $151,000. And but at the beginning, when they talk about the chase, they said he had a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Where's it at, Harry? All right, he said officials said they searched Lacey after fleeing the scene and attempted a traffic stop. Instead, he led them on a car chase for several miles and crashed.
So is that meaning that
Hold on,
it was like
hold on.
it was a DUI checkpoint?
Let me finish.
I'm trying to follow this.
Let me finish. He said he led them on a traffic. I mean, they tried to attempt a traffic stop. Instead, he led them on a car chase for several miles and crashed in Spring, Texas. The authorities said when the deputies removed Lacey from the car, and to take him in custody, found him with a self-inflicted wound and pronounced dead at the scene by emergency response. So this was after the whole incident, and he turned himself in. This was after.
Okay. So we had it mixed up. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
This was after he turned himself in. They went to go stop him for a traffic stop, and he didn't stop. He just kept driving, and they followed behind him until he crashed. And the reason he crashed because he took his own life.
So this man, so it's not like so in this instant he wasn't even drunk. He was completely coherent. He could have just
no.
You
got it mixed up. You got it mixed up. No, this is not the same.
That's why he's saying free. He could have just stopped and took his ticket or whatever.
No. When he got stopped when he got into the car accident and took the 78-year-old man's life, that's a different time. This time is when they found him dead.
That's why he's saying free. When they tried to do the traffic stop, he should have just stopped. This had nothing to do with that other instance. What reason he had to run?
Well, like I said, we don't know what news he got about his court case. We don't know what news he got.
But if
I'll say this. Shout out to Jose, said it best.
Yeah,
we'll never know the true story. And you know what Dub is saying does have a little merit, even though, as he would say, what's that he says all the time?
You out of order. You out of order.
So I'll say that, but we do want to try to get the facts out. The fact is this. I just put it like this: it's sad that granddaddy didn't make it home, and there's nothing left of that young man but a scream. And for this to be, just swept under the rug like it's no big deal, I think it's one of the saddest things I've ever seen in my life, man. I honestly could say BBO shed some tears over this whole story, man. Truthful. But back to something a little bit more lighthearted, man. What do you guys think about Carmelo Anthony coming home tonight? What do you guys think?
Great.
Go ahead and respond on that. Start it off.
Wait, the basketball player? Who we talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about Melo.
No, he talking about the guy, the track star, I believe in Texas.
Oh, track guy. Okay. I didn't realize his name was Carmelo Anthony. Jesus.
Yeah. It's Carmelo with a K.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Wow.
I don't know nothing about him, so y'all can take it away. I don't know nothing about him.
I don't know nothing about that one.
Well, go ahead, Dub. Give us your thoughts on it. Then Crushing Dub, give us your thoughts, and then we'll go to Marky.
I haven't looked too much into it. First things first. From what I heard during the track and field event, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Man did some horrific things. I'm gonna just leave it like that. To take another individual life. my whole thing, the man deserves he deserves his due process. At the same time, bro, it's hard. I don't know what due process look like in this situation, just to be honest.
Well,
Because real quick, and the only reason I said it because the same way he deserved his due process, the man is technically innocent until proven guilty. Um, at the same time, the same way we were just talking about a grandfather being taken away. Now you got somebody's child that's been taken away, and so we got to see how things play out. I don't know how. I'm just saying.
What you
But
talking
I
It
don't
about,
jumped
know.
Dub?
on him.
What you talking about, Dub?
So why did the track star do what he did? 'Cause when I saw that, I just thought it was kind of bizarre, but I now just didn't pay it no mind. Just
I
well,
don't.
so much going on in the world. What was like?
Hold on. Wait a second. We not talking about Carmelo Anthony. What are you talking about?
we are talking
it's
about
a kid named Carmelo Anthony, a
yeah.
track star, not the basketball player.
It's he's a
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I
So
thought y'all were joking when y'all said that.
no,
My
no, no,
bad.
no.
I
Okay,
thought
so
that was a joke.
basically, real quick, nobody really knows what happened. Ain't nobody really care about what happened. But basically, what happened is this young kid, Carmelo Anthony, unalive this kid, and this kid was known for bullying him. So this is all behind that he got fed up with this kid bullying him. And hey, things happen. So go look the story up, and then we'll come back and build
Yeah,
on it. You see what I'm
I
saying?
don't want to.
Because
I don't want to
I,
touch this.
I,
I don't know
I
enough
don't want
about
to
it.
be the only one that's speaking on it. So everybody, that's what the base situation is behind. That this young man has got fed up with this young guy that was bullying him.
Oh, I see.
He jumped
Yeah,
on
I
him.
heard about this story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it is what it is. Go look it up. And we'll touch back on it because it's definitely something to touch on. Okay, so on a lighter note, let's get back to some other things, man. These type of situations, they're good to talk about, but they're so heavy.
BVO, I know you probably got something loaded up, but can I bring up a topic?
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna let you bring it up after this one thing. I'm gonna wrap this up and then I'll let you come up on that. When it comes to Carmelo Anthony, what I'll say is this. This is the problem in America. And I'll be honest, I'm gonna tell you something true. People won't tell you that. A lot of blacks won't tell you this, but America, in my opinion, is the greatest experiment there ever was. So BBO is not gonna come up here with no BS about America because I live here and I've enjoyed some great privilege from being here. To get an education the way I was able to get an education for free, through sports. There's not many places in the world you can do that. So I'm very grateful for my country in that aspect. But I will say this: there was a young man who drove 2 hours away to Indianapolis, and somebody threw a bag, and he blew him away. A young man's getting bullied. Not saying it's right. Not saying it's right. And he takes it too far. This is the classic story. If you ever watch Christmas Story, what do we see Ralphie do? Ralphie beat the life out this kid, and if it wasn't somebody to get Ralphie off, he had to go get his mom. He probably would have took his life. You can't bully people. Take this from a guy who's from the hood and seen bullies. Bullies get wasted. There's no happy ending for a bully. Debo, they took it easy on Debo. Most people would have blew Debo away. Just to be honest with you, there is no bullying people. Only for so long a man or a woman's going to take what she's taking. And I don't want to speak too in depth on it, but I'll put it like this: get a brother a chance. Carmelo Anthony comes from a two-parent home, two young black people who are married, which is great. I know people don't want to respect it. They don't respect, a lot of people don't respect marriage because they're not married for whatever reason. But two people who are married has a young son who's getting bullied, and he took it too far. I wish he would have got help, but he did. At the end of the day, just like the father of the slain teen said, I forgive him. I forgive him. Why did he say that? Because he knows who his son is. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If we're being honest, if that was our child being harassed and scared to go to school, and he has a doggone pocket knife, and y'all jump on him, and he say, "Hey, I'm not playing." It's something, and I'm gonna leave it, and I'm gonna let Mark go through this. I remember I had punched this dude in the mouth. Right? I'm not saying it's a good thing. That brother came back with something for me. He said, "Do you want it?" You know what BVO said? No, I don't want it.
You out of
Hey,
pocket.
Dove, he looked at me in my eyes and said, "Do you want it?" I said, "No, I don't want it." And you know what he did? He let me go. And guess what? I never talked to that dude again. I never bothered him again because he gave me an opportunity to say no. So
But
let's be honest. What
but
should have happened was this. Kids and people got to have some understanding that you can't do what you want. If somebody tell you, give you a warning, what did my grandmother say? If somebody don't want it, don't give it to them because you never know what they got. So in that small space, I'll just say, yo, man, prayers to him. Those reporters are despicable to come up to this young kid like that and say all the stuff they were saying to him. Treat him like that young guy who drove to Indianapolis with a weapon and popped those people at the protests during
Mm,
COVID. Treat him
mm.
like that.
hey, real quick,
Take
real
him
quick.
to
Hold on, hold on,
take him
hold
to
on.
McDonald's, act like they did Dylan Roof after Dylan Roof took all those black people out in South Carolina and actually want a Big Mac with cheese. So
Listen,
leave my
it's just
brother Carmelo alone. Pray for him. Pray for his mother. Pray for his father because I know they're going through it. As a
Mm-hmm.
family, I'm praying for them.
hold on,
But
real quick. I gotta say this. I gotta say this. So I look at it like this. And hey, people will call you whatever they want to call you, but like I always tell my son, first things first. I ain't raising you to get bullied, nigga. You gotta
Facts.
get busy. You need nigga
Mm-hmm.
get busy. And matter of fact, you gonna have to see me until you gonna have to see me until I win that
Mm-hmm.
motherfucking fight, bro. It is
Mm-hmm.
what it is.
hey,
That's
watch
the
the cussing, though. Watch the cussing,
my
though.
apologies. My apologies. I'm
Go
out of
ahead.
order. I'm out of order. Second thing though. Second thing is this: if you're getting bullied and you're not trying to get busy, there are other remedies. It's other remedies out there.
Mm-hmm.
And to sit here and take somebody's life, that ain't the and now possibly destroy your own life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the way to go. And so all I'm saying is that I know, and I think we need to leave this stigma alone, all the snitching and all that kind of stuff. That whole conversation is
That's stupid.
mute and void to me. You
Yeah.
you know
Yep.
what? Yep, you need to snitch.
Yep.
Yellow Beezy supposedly Mo3 was terrorizing stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly. But what they did, instead
A
of
bully.
instead of instead of going to the police, going to talk to D Free, you know what I'm saying? Instead of doing it that way, what he chose to take it on in his own hands. And now the man is possibly got the death penalty as the ultimate revenge in this situation. All I'm saying is that it's a better way to handle situations than just going and unaliving somebody, paying somebody to do those type of things, any of that. And I think we've lost the youth to the point that a lot of times they're not even listening. They so and they feeling scared, whatever it is that they willing to do, crash out things. And the last thing I'll tell you any day of the week, last thing my son never gonna be is a crash out.
Mm-hmm.
Not happening.
That's a fact.
Well,
Let me ask you a question. How did
well,
he analyze this other kid?
You talking to me?
Yeah. How did he actually take him out?
How did he
with
do
a
what?
knife.
How did he take the other kid out? How did he take him
Oh,
out?
basically from what they said when they got into the scuff with the other kid, punched on him and jumped on him. Then he just started poking him. And unfortunately, he passed away.
and this all went down at a
Well,
track meet,
that
is what you're telling me.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah,
Um,
basically he jumped on
well,
the
I
kid.
go
Basically let me say this real quick, man. I'll let you go. Basically, from what the and see, we don't know all the facts, but this is why we have conversation. This is BVO. This is BVO Sports TV, man. This is Sports Talk Network. We talk about everything, y'all. We not scared. Um, I put it like this: if I'm making you sick, Billy, guess what, man? I don't give a f. We here to report the news, bro. I don't care, and I love
Bentley in his bag.
you. I love
Bentley.
you, man, and I love you. You my guy. But I'll just say this: Carmelo got jumped. The guy was beating on him, and Carmelo decided to do what he did. And I'll tell you this: to what Bentley said, I've been a huge person about how evil drill music is. I'm from the Midwest where it was born. Drill music is probably some of the most genocidal music that's ever came out.
no,
Mm.
but the
Where
devil
you
of them. It's the
celebrate the
music of the
death of
devil.
you celebrate the death of someone. That's sick, bro.
That's crazy.
That's sick. It's what's so funny. I remember there was a one time. This is a crazy story. We was at the barbershop. A guy that a lot of us didn't like. He passed away, And I remember my homeboy said, "That's what's up." And I thought to myself,
That's
"Dang,
crazy.
that's cold." But you know what
Oh,
I had?
so is this
Hold on,
is this? I'm about to
hold
ask
on,
a
free, hold
question.
on, hold on, free. Don't jump out while I'm talking, please. The whole thing is this: it happens all the time. People make mistakes. All I'm saying is, I hope that whatever happens with Carmelo, man, treat him like y'all treated that guy who went to the protest, who was saying he was trying to help property owners. I cannot remember his name. They took him to Senate. They raised a bunch of money for him. They raised a bunch of money for him and all this. All I'm gonna say is this: you're never going to see BVO champion young black men going to jail forever. Does he need to go to
Oh,
jail? Probably so. But I
uh,
don't think this is something I want to hear.
Well,
so this
That's
Like
this is
this.
the
crazy.
We're not.
kid.
Hold on,
This
hold
the
on,
kid
free.
that
Hold on, free. Hold on, free. You keep
I didn't
interrupting
even
me.
finish saying what I'm saying. I just asked you
Hold on,
one
hold on, one
question.
second.
You went
You
on
get
for
to
a
talk. You get to
5 minute
talk.
spill. I asked
I can
one
wait
question.
till I
Hey,
have to finish
I don't care.
talking.
I don't care about doing 15-minute spill.
Y'all
I'm
boys
just
is
trying to
crazy.
finish what I'm saying. I'll say it like this. I get what you guys are saying, but I just want to clear it up for those guys that's watching because they know BVO. Hey, no matter how it goes, I just want people to realize that's somebody's baby that they trying to erase. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Mark, and then go to free.
Man, hold up. I gotta finish saying what I was saying because I asked
No,
you one
go ahead,
question.
because
You went
after
on
I done,
for
I
a
want to
15
switch the
minute spill.
subject. Go ahead.
So this is the kid that I heard about that was at a track meet, and they told him the leader feel he was on somebody else's side that he wasn't supposed to be on. They told him to leave. He wouldn't leave, and whatever happened, he ended up killing the other. I'm sorry, he ended up analyzing the other kid. Um,
Analyzing.
yeah, the problem that I have with this whole conversation is you wanting to give this kid the benefit of the doubt when he was doing something totally wrong, but you wouldn't give the other guy a benefit of the doubt when he was intoxicated. That's the problem I have with this whole situation.
Hmm.
Hey, I'm giving you as my father told me years ago. The only place that's fair is where they raise pigs. And hey,
I'm just saying, it's,
I
one
feel you.
person was intoxicated and did something wrong. The other person wasn't intoxicated at all. He went over there.
One was a little boy. One was a
Yeah,
little
but he,
boy.
he he went over there. He went
Stop
over
treating
there.
stop treating young black men like they grown. He wasn't grown. He
No,
was a baby.
what I am saying is he went to where the problem was.
Hmm.
He went to the problem. He didn't try to stay away from the problem. He went to where the problem was. So it seemed like he wanted to do what he had to do. He wanted to do it. He went to the
Nasty
problem.
work.
I know
Nasty work.
exactly what the story is now. I remember hearing about the story. I know exactly what it is. He went to the problem.
Hey,
That's all I'm saying.
shout out to Shaw. He
Yeah.
said it best. He wasn't wrong though. It was raining. He went to a tent for shelter. Hey,
He went to the other team's tent and they told him to leave. He wasn't supposed to be there. He was in somebody else's tent. They said, leave, go to where your tent is. So he went
So
to
you
where the
saying
problem.
what you saying for you think the kid had an agenda, Carmelo? He's
I
like,
think he did. I,
they
I,
put
I
their
ran
hands
track.
on him.
I ran track. I ran track. You know where your team is lined up at. And
hmm,
according to the report, he wasn't even there for the track meet.
Jesus.
According to the
He was
report, he
just there.
wasn't.
So basically, you say he was just there for smoke.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow, that boy free is. What you got for me, Dove? And, go ahead, Dove. We got here from Marky or Dove. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead,
Marky
Mark.
been waiting, nigga.
My bad, Mark. Hey,
God damn.
Y'all boys is
hey,
wild,
watch
man.
the cussing, man. But you good? Go ahead, brother.
No, I try to be in order, but this is what happens.
I was out of
Anyway,
order. Go ahead.
thank you. No, I don't have no details about this young man situation. I'm confused now. I thought that they went to the same school, or so they don't go to the same school.
They getting bullied every day.
If you getting bullied, how are you getting bullied every day if they don't go to the same school?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So I don't know. Like that sounds like a narrative, but I don't know if it's a good narrative to push. But that's a tragedy. The fact that this is a young person, this is a teenager that lost their life. Um, this young man, like Dub says, he has the right to due process and the presumption of innocence, even though Dub's president doesn't believe that. Nah. But it is. But that's just a tragedy. Once again, same as the last situation. I hope that like I said, like BVO said, I'm not in support of well, I'm not gonna say I'm not in support of black people going to jail. I'm not in support of young people going to jail. Especially a young black person. I hope the judge will let him serve out time in the juvenile detention center until he's 21. That's something that happens to a lot of youth offenders, and I hope that they'll work out some type of deal with the DA so he doesn't have to go to trial. But like I said, it's a tragedy, and I hope we get more details on what happened, because if that's the case that he was in their tent, then he might have had some kind of agenda. I don't know. It might have been premeditated if you decide to walk with a knife over to them man tent.
All right,
You know,
real
go
quick.
ahead, Crush. My bad. Go ahead.
I ain't get a chance to speak on. Listen, we're not gonna play around with this any further. So let me just be nicely and just put the final nail in the coffin on this situation. Reality, people, listen. Truth hurts. So here's the facts. I'm not holding anyone accountable for how they react to something that's bothering them. Once again, you don't get to judge what you would have done. And one thing I was always told where I came from, don't go picking with people, because you don't know how they're going to respond. So just because you don't be the type that put up your fist, that don't mean the next person will. Because everybody is a killer, but everybody ain't killers. I'm going to say it again.
Unalivers, please.
Hey, brother, killer ain't a cuss word. It's not that deep. All right? Not that
YouTube
deep.
don't like it.
It ain't a cuss word, bro, but I feel you. Well, listen.
I got you.
Listen, this is just facts. I don't care if you agree with me or not. Okay, this is just facts. This is what happened when you go picking with people. You don't know how they're going to react. And guess what? That's on you. You know that person that you might go attack, you might just spark something in them. They say don't go waking up a... They say don't go waking up a sleeping beast. You might have woke up a quiet killer. But you don't know, because some people just don't want to be bothered, so they're going to do whatever they need to do to a person that's bothering them to make sure it don't happen again. And sometimes that action may put them behind bars. So I'm not holding nobody accountable for how they react when somebody take them there, because I know if you mess with me, hey, I'm not going to play with you. So don't go picking with people, because you never know how they're going to react. We don't even know how long that man been getting picked on. So he probably just got to a point, you know what, he's been picking with me for a couple of months. It ain't going to be another hour. It ain't going to be another day.
Hey, Crush.
No, I don't hold no responsible, because, hey, for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. And that's just the reality, people.
Hey, Crush, you ever seen, and I don't like to do movie references too much, but you ever seen Ender's Game, whatever it's called?
Yeah.
So in that movie, this kid getting bullied, whatever, what he does is when he get the chance, he picks something up and beat the dog, almost kill the individual who bullying him, right? And when he was questioned about it, when they asked him, he said, well, I want to show that this was going to happen if you mess with me. I want to make an example out of him so none of his friends didn't have no thoughts in their mind about doing no nonsense. And this is why you let everybody stay in their own lane. You don't bother people, man. You let people live their life the way that they're going to live it. You keep your hands to yourself. Hey, man, it is what it is, but there's always consequences for your actions. So, like we spoke on earlier, as far as the young man in the car accident, that type of thing, yeah, you got consequences for that. You got to face those consequences. Same thing here. It's a little different, and I'm not saying it's right, but I am saying that if that young man felt that that was his only way not to be put in that type of situation, that's what he did.
Yeah, and I'll say this to put a bow. I'll say this to put a bow on it. Go ahead, Free.
No, I was gonna say I just read the story on it. So basically, what happened was that the kid Anthony,
Carmelo.
yeah, he went to a team's tent. The kids in the tent told him to leave. The dude Metcalf, the kid Metcalf, went to turn him, I guess, force him out of the tent, like grabbed him and try to push him out of the tent. He turned around and stabbed him one time in the chest and took off running.
So
Hey,
was the
don't
kid?
put your
So
hands on
hold
me.
on.
Don't
So
put your
wait.
hands on me.
So real quick, Dub. So what y'all telling me is the kid?
Nah.
Hold on, Marky? Did the kid? So they said he was being bullied. Did they go to the same school? So it sounded like they was on the
No,
opposite.
no,
Hey,
Okay,
they
so how was
wasn't.
he getting
It,
bullied? Was it bullying him in the neighborhood? How was he?
he wasn't. He wasn't being
nah.
bullied.
To
He
to
wasn't being
me,
bullied.
that's
Okay, well,
not a
I'll tell you like this:
proportionate
if you
response.
somebody's bullying you like this, no, like it's important that we protect our kids from these bullies. Like right now, I got my daughter in jujitsu. And you run up on her right now, I promise you, she can take the average girl her size down, and she's a big girl. So we got to protect them kids. That bullying stuff is lame because these kids is not built like we are. And we
No,
had this
he
conversation not
wasn't
too
being
long
bullied.
ago,
That
Free.
don't sound like bullying to me. That's so
I mean,
like
that sounds like his
But
son doing it.
I'll say this because we'll go on all night on
Yeah,
this.
facts.
No matter how it goes, it's hold on. Somebody got some audio on the back. Somebody
That's
mute.
my kid. That's my
Okay.
grandkid.
Oh, okay. I'll just say this. At the end of the day, we praying for him. And however it goes, I don't think they should throw the young man away. He's a baby. Too many times,
I agree.
as Pac said it best, America eats its own children, so we can't eat our children in this fact. But one thing I will tell you, when it comes to bullying, man, everybody's been bullied, man, and that's what I tell any kid: if you're getting bullied, and somebody feel they can put their hands on you, man. As my uncle told me when I remember I had a dude who used to watch me. He was in kindergarten. This dude used to watch me every day. He must have been third, fourth grade. He'll watch me. He'd throw me and my cousin in the snow.
No,
Man,
no,
guess what? Guess what? I found something called a mechanical pencil, and he found out, hey, don't watch BVO, don't watch Brandon, don't watch us. So you gotta let people know, man, and what to do, and you ain't gotta take it that far as unaliving somebody. Man. That's
no.
kind of what.
He wasn't being bullied though. It doesn't. Nothing in here said he was being bullied.
So he just snapped, Free. He just
Yeah,
snapped.
he just and
To
he
me,
had it.
to me,
He
that sounds
already
like a narrative
he
that
already
just being
had the
pushed by
weapon.
people.
Hold
He
Yeah.
on,
already
Marky.
had the
What do you say?
hold on, Mark. He already had the weapon in his bag. They said
Okay.
when they told him to leave, and the boy went to push him out of the tent. Said they basically saying it was a team's tent, and they told him, "Hey, you leave, go. You
Salute
can't
being
be in
in
here."
boxing.
And they went to push him out of the tent. They said he dug into his bag, pulled it out, hit him one time in the chest, and he took off running. And
That's
he
crazy.
said it was self-defense. That's
Why
basically
did he
what
snap
he
like
No,
that?
that's not self-defense. Like, cause
That's
you
like that's
take
like
off running
overdrive.
after, you could have just left the tent.
Yeah.
The
It's
I
boy
don't
not
know
like
was
enough
it's not
about
like
that,
paying
so
they,
I,
they
money.
it's not like they're impeding your movement or anything like
but
that.
you can't say what he did. That's what you would have did. You can't say what he should have did or woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's where it gets sticky at.
No, I'm not gonna say I mean,
It's one thing.
I would say what I would have did. I would have turned around and punched him for putting his
Right.
hands on me, but I'm not gonna take nobody out for putting their hands on
And
me.
that goes back to what I
It wa-
said, Free. These kids and sisters, they can't take a butt whooping. You get they like back in if we lost a fight back in the day, we lived to fight another day. These new kids, they go grab the switchies and act and just crash out, bro. I don't know.
yeah, it didn't sound like it was basically no call for what he did. So
Yeah, so he snapped. He ain't get
it
bullied. He
was
just
no
snapped.
self-defense involved in that. Based off of multiple witnesses,
Oh,
there was no self-defense in it.
So did the man get jumped first?
The man,
They said the boy.
nobody hit that boy. Nobody hit him.
Okay,
They went to
we
push
heard
him
some
out the
BS on
tent.
that. Go ahead.
Yeah,
So he just snapped.
they went to push him out the tent. They went to push him out the tent.
Don't put your hands on him.
Actually, it was only one boy. It was one boy, the guy that ended up losing his life, Metcalf. He went to push him out the tent, and he turned around and he took him out.
I still
Boy
say
said,
don't
put your hands on nobody.
You should have put
Hey,
him out of there.
you know it's so funny. I remember.
You can talk all the fuck you want, but don't put your hands
Hey,
on me.
hold on with the cousin, bro.
Oh, my
Dub is
bad.
a
You
My
are
bad.
savage.
nuts, bro.
My bad.
Dub is
I'm out of
But
order.
I'll
I'm out
say
of
this.
order.
I'll say this, man. I remember one time, man. My homeboy, his nickname. I would say his nickname. My homeboy Burger had slapped this dude. Right. It wasn't a big slap. It was a regular slap.
That's
This
crazy.
dude, This dude turned into the Hulk, threw him on the table, beat him half to death.
You
Man,
shouldn't be
listen.
putting your
Hey,
hands
hold
on
on, let
nobody.
me finish. And I remember asking Berg, I'm like, bro, did you think all that was gonna happen? He was like, Tim Zoo, what happened? But and all that to say this, man, don't put your hands on nobody, bro.
Leave people alone, man.
And this the craziest thing. My partner Big Kev, when we were in middle school, you know what I'm saying? We used to all walk home together. We had a pep rally. Dude think he popping or whatever. Slapped my brother Big Kev, right? Now Big Kev, man, he said, all right. And he took it on the chin. He said, all right, I got you after school. I got you when we walking home.
Mm-hmm.
Met up in the field. Now, mind you, Big Kev, that's my brother right there. I'm talking about, I seen when a bull see that red little flag thing that they be waving, that's what I seen in them. I'm talking about it got so bad. Like, we trying to pull him off, and we can't. It took my partner saying, he hit Big Kev in the arm, right? Big Kev talking about, damn, why you hit me so hard? I'm like, bro, what are we doing right now? You about to kill this man. You like you on top of this man pounding him. It ain't even punches no more. These are pounds that you giving this man.
You
So
say you giving him what?
pounds.
No did it. I said no did it. I say no did it. No did it.
We here to make people laugh too.
I knew he was
That
waiting
was
for it. I
crazy.
knew he was waiting
That
for it.
was
But this is
crazy,
the thing
though.
though. The thing is once
Really
that man
crazy.
was slapped, he saw red.
Yeah,
He
he
didn't
did.
see nothing else.
He
And
snapped.
it wasn't nothing that we could say to get him like and Big Kelly, he a big dude, you know what I'm saying? All of 5'10", 315 pounds now. And so
5'10", 300 pounds? Sheesh.
hey, that what I'm but get what? Fast hands, fast feet. And so, bruh, we watching them and we like, bro, you gonna kill the man. Chill, bro, chill. You know what I'm saying? So you never know how people are gonna react when you put your hands on them. And that's why I say I don't want no smoke.
Nope.
Matter of fact, I'm doing everything to prevent the smoke. Let's have a conversation.
I'll walk away.
Hold on, let me say this real quick. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a young fella named Jonathan Majors. He ran like Flojo to get away from a woman, and they still had him in court. So I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear what you're saying, Bentley, because bro, I've seen Jonathan. He was running like he was on the cross country team, and then
Nah,
she
that's
ran
a
after him.
fact.
He
That's
Bro,
a
we're
I had
turned.
never
He
fact.
turned.
seen it.
bro, we're
Hey,
trying to
BB,
get
he
on,
turned
wasn't
around the block. He turned that corner, dog, and was out. Well, I'm like, I don't
Bro.
blame him.
He was running like he was in the gym.
Man, listen, man. You
Nah,
that's. I ain't even gonna say that up here, man. I'm gonna get off of this.
nah,
Oh,
he had
I'm
somewhere
not
to
mad at all.
be. That's
Bentley.
a
Bentley.
fact.
Oh, let me say this. Bentley, you my dog. You a day one supporter. You absolutely are entitled to your opinion. Hey, you a Florida boy. I know how y'all Miami boys get. Shout out to Miami Gardens, man. You know, I call it Carroll City, but shout out to Miami Gardens, man. You a good brother. You always good here, man. But I put it like this, man. Shout out to my man, Boston Scholar. I know he just paid some money. I think he just paid George Zimmerman's rent. So shout out to Boston Scholar. I know that's kind of guy he
Now
is.
that was crazy.
Did you
Man,
say George Zimmerman?
Now that
why
was
Yeah,
why
because
crazy.
all these
How did we
bodies
get to that?
dropping, but
How did we
George
even get to
Zimmerman can
that?
That was
still be
How did we even
alive?
crazy.
get to
That's
that?
crazy.
That was
hold on,
crazy.
hold on. We a show, man. We want to make the people. We want to have some fun, man. We want to have some
That was
fun.
crazy.
I
That's
don't know if that's fun.
a little excessive, but
But
carry on.
this dude calling us all types of coons and all this BS in here, man. Screw y'all.
Y'all boys is wild, man.
You got it on the screen. Take it off the screen, then. You the one who got it on the screen.
That was crazy.
Hey, you ain't gonna call my brother D Free no coon, and you
He
work for
just
Diddy.
got both parents
Hey,
You
now.
know what the
I don't
baby
let
oil?
words. Me and Dub talked last night with Shelton Moore. I don't let words bother me. I already told you what
And we
happened.
had a great conversation last night. We had a great
I told you
Shout
about
out
that
to
last
Free.
night. Words don't bother me
Yo,
because I
Shout out
know
to Free.
it's
Shout out to
a
Uncle Shelton. Shout out to Picasso, man.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna
shout
be
out
honest
them
with you, man.
brothers.
You can't let words bother you because they got some people who will say some funny stuff in the hood, man. I remember this cat. This cat had just got poked up, and dude had a velocity bag, and they first thing out everybody's mouth, your S bag stink, your S
Dang,
bag stink, nigga, it stink. I can smell it.
Of
that's
course it
cold.
does. Of
He
course
was
it does.
hold on, Dub. He had just got back from the hospital. He had just got back. I mean, he hopped on his grandma and granddaddy's car, and the moment he hit the block with the kids, Man, I smell your bag. You stink. You
That's
stink.
crazy.
No, it's not crazy. It's funny though. But what y'all got? I'm gonna let you get your last words in. We got Doug Rightside coming on tonight. I think he's gonna be talking about the greatest woman of all time, Alicia Bumgarner. What you guys got? What's your final words?
Protect your kids with all costs, man. Everybody stay on your pivot and just lay low, man. Get your money.
Hey man, same thing. I agree with everything Prize just said. There, we will be live tonight. I don't know. It's either going to be 10:30 or 10:45. We got the new Tuesday night episode. It'll be me, my sister Bella, straight out of Georgia. We'll be starting the show off. We'll go through a couple of topics. We'll drop the link after we get through our topics. And the Bella and Dub show on Tuesdays is going to start rocking tonight, episode 1. Also, you damn right, man. Protect these kids, because at the end of the day, we are what. If it's not for us, if we're not in our kids' life, if we're not giving them the right things to talk about, the right understanding, then they can crash out. And like I said, the last thing I want my son to be is a crash out and be a part of somebody. We talked about it a little last night. I don't want to go too far into it. Other thing I got to say, shout out to D Free, shout out to Uncle Shelton, shout out to Picasso. All came through last night for the episode that we had as far as the
The Day
conspiracy.
Walker came through.
Yeah, absolutely. Came through for the conspiracy show. We end up talking more about their recruitment, their military life. It was a great conversation, and then we got to the kids as well. So it was a great show last night, and tonight it'll be another great show. So y'all check us out. 10:30, 10:45. I believe it's gonna be 10:30, but I'll let y'all know. Hell, y'all know where I'm at. Y'all know to find me anyway. So it is what it is. Shout out to my brother Sombrero as well, because Sombrero, you're doing a hell of a job. You're doing a hell of a job. You be out of order now. You be out of order, but I ain't got no problem with it, man. Keep it in.
Shout out to my man Varnell Hill, man. You doing a great job yourself, man. We see what you're doing. You the superstar of the Sports Talk Network. I'm proud of you, bro. You know, that's as our country Bama say. I'm proud of you, bro.
I'm proud of you. Hey, I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of you.
But what you got for me? What you got for me, Free? I think Free must have fell on the steps. But tomorrow I'm gonna be producing Coffee and Donuts. We're gonna have a great story. We're gonna have the downfall of Benny Siegel. My brother, Crush have a little technical difficulties, but we're gonna have it right. I'm gonna produce tomorrow's episode. Because when me and Crush get together, man, it's like Eric being Rakim. Of course, I'm Uncle E, and that's Rakim. So we're gonna do our thing, man. Shout out to Prize. Prize my right hand, man. If you see me, you're gonna see Prize, man. So you know how that goes. We like Jay and Memphis Bleak, man. We together, man. But on that note, man, we out of here, man. Shout out to our sponsors, the Breakfast Box. Shout out to Raycon. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity, and shout out to the Mighty Talk Sports Talk Network. Shout out to Puerto Rican Tommy. I know he's somewhere picking oranges right now. Appreciate you, man. Love you, brother. Shout out to CDK. I know he's fresh out the cotton fields, so shout out to CDK as well. And we're gonna be back, y'all.
Hold on, Marky Dan. Where Marky Dan at?
Shout out to Marky Dan. I know he's somewhere drinking Sugar Cane juice, man. I appreciate Marky Dan.
That's crazy.
On that note, we out of here, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
On behalf of BVO Boxing TV, we would like to thank our sponsor, Raycon. Don't forget to grab your Raycon everyday earbuds, the perfect bass model for premium sound, with active noise cancellation to block out distractions and transparency mode to keep you aware of your surroundings. They're ideal for your everyday needs. Just visit rayconglobal.com. That's rayconglobal.com and elevate your listening experience.